In this YouTube marketing guide, you're going to learn 7 practical steps to leveraging the power of YouTube to actually generating sales. Hey, I'm Jason, and if you're looking for the latest in traffic and conversion strategies to help grow your business online, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now, as we kick off the 7 practical steps to growing your YouTube channel and creating content that actually drives sales to your business, let's go ahead and jump in with 3 templates that you can use right now for coming up with content ideas and structuring content that is actually optimized for YouTube. Now, there are 3 different types. There's how-to, which is essentially a step-by-step tutorial, reviews, which are reviews of products or services, even if they're not directly related to your company, as long as the review would be valuable to your ideal customer. We'll get to that in a moment. And then the final type we have is what or a decision guide, where you weigh the pros and cons of a decision or a fork in the road that your ideal customer or prospect might have, and really just talk them through how to make the decision and how their lives might be better or worse as a result of taking certain actions. So when it comes to generating ideas, there's a great website called Answer the Public where you can go and start typing in questions as if you're your ideal customer or your ideal audience member, and it will give you a laundry list of ideas and questions you can answer. Great content starts with figuring out what question you're answering for your ideal customer. The YouTube suggestions box is also great. So if you just go to YouTube, start typing things in as if you were the ideal customer, you're going to get a lot of ideas from those suggestions, because those suggestions represent actual searches. So with these 3 templates in mind, let's go ahead and back up a little bit and think about your products and services so that we actually make the right type of content that attracts people who will eventually become customers, because there's a lot of content you can make, but only so much content that's actually going to contribute to your bottom line. So here you want to identify the solutions and then pre-problems of your product. Now, to keep things simple, just think of one product or service, and then you can expand out from there once you've gone through this exercise once. So you want to think about what problems does my product or service solve for my customers? So how are my customers' lives better or easier as a result of purchasing my products and services? That's what you want to think about. You don't need to worry about your ideal customer profile or what they think or their opinions yet. We're just focused on your actual product and how you perceive your actual product. And the reason that this is so important is you want to start thinking of everything in terms of questions and problems and then results, because this is going to help you fill something called a content gap. And all a content gap is, it represents a content opportunity on the path to someone purchasing your product or service. So what we want to do is, once we know what the results of our product are, we will actually start working backwards and think about, okay, what questions do most of our ideal customers have? Or what problems are they dealing with now that we can help them with before they actually purchase our product and service? And so this is where coming up with your ideal customer profile comes in. Now, there are 3 main parts to creating your customer avatar. For time purposes, we're not going to go through all of them, but you just want to keep in mind that for every product or service that you have, there are a lot of different potential customers for it. But each one of those ideal customers might need a different piece of information or might be in a different place on their path to doing business with you. So to keep things simple, let's go ahead and use the example of a bike shop. So we'd have people who are completely new to mountain biking. We have people who are 3 to 6 months in, and then veterans who have been doing a year or more. Of course, you can take this example and use it for whatever your business is, but essentially we want to think about what is the experience level, or where are our ideal customers along that journey of whatever result they're trying to achieve. So we have the first one would be, they're just getting started, right? They think it would be a fun hobby. Then we have people who've been doing it for a while. They're just going on the weekends. And then we have the real enthusiasts who are training really hard. And this is as complex as you need to be when you're first getting started with coming up with who exactly you're making content for on YouTube. You can choose one of these people, or you can rotate through them. What's most important is as long as these all represent people who would eventually be a good customer for your products and services. Now, I'll have a link in the description to a video that actually takes a very deep dive on coming up with your ideal customer avatar, how to use Google Analytics and Facebook Audience Insights to create a full profile. For time purposes, we won't go over that right now. What you do want to do, though, is before you start creating your content, is find at least 5 YouTube channels that your ideal customers are already engaging with to help you understand what type of content they're really going to enjoy. Again, I'll leave a link in the description to a full video that walks through all 3 of these major points of your ideal customer avatar. Here, for creating our content pillars, we're actually going to focus on these last 2 questions. And your content pillars are what you're going to use to organize all of your content. So at this point, we've talked about your product. We have a brief understanding of who your ideal customers are. And now it's time to ask the 2 most important questions when it comes to creating your content. What results are they after, and what do they think is getting in the way of the results that they want? So let's go ahead, continue with our bike example, and let's go through an example of the weekend mountain biker, someone who's just doing this as a hobby casually, and we're looking to sell them some mountain bike equipment or training. So first we want to know, what results are they after? Well, they probably would enjoy mountain biking more if they could go faster, they'd be less tired, maybe they're dealing with some injuries because of incorrect form or skill, and it might have been a while since their last tune-up, so they're looking to tune up their bike or upgrade their bike to improve performance. Great. So what's getting in the way of having a better bike or enjoying mountain biking more? Well, maybe they think they're out of shape, maybe they think they need to improve their skills, maybe they need better parts, or they're just not happy with their local trail selection and they're looking for other places to bike or potentially train. So obviously this is very surface level. You're going to want to take 30 to 40 minutes to really go through each one of these questions and be very extensive and actually do this for each one of your prospect profiles. So we would do one for the 0 and the 3. We're just going to stick with the 1 here. And I'm referring to the time experience at the bottom. And it's at this point that you're finally ready to develop your content pillars. These are going to be the overarching content category buckets that every piece of content that you create on YouTube or anywhere else is going to fall into. So you have 2 ways to organize it. You can organize it by topics. So we could look at the roadblocks we have and the results that we have, and we could create pillars based upon topics of bike skills, bike parts, and then maybe just a general one of best places to bike or stories of other mountain bikers and the trails they like in their local area or community. Or we could go the type of content route, which means you would have your pillars based upon whether it was a tutorial, whether it was a review, or whether it was a decision guide. So either way you go, the reason you want to do this is going to help you with your content calendar, because this is going to allow you to always know what type of content you're going to be posting and what day of the week. You don't necessarily have to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Obviously, you're going to have to choose a schedule that works best for you and something that you can stick with consistently. It's recommended to do 3 videos a week to start, although that's not always reasonable. Video takes a really long time. So if you can only afford to do 1 or you only have time to do 1, as long as you can stay consistent, that is the key. And you want to rotate through your pillars, and this will make sure your content doesn't get stale, because while you might have a very narrow audience for who you want to target with your particular product or service, you do need to be a little broad on YouTube so you have a well-rounded channel. And with that, you're ready to actually start generating some actual ideas for individual videos. Make sure you comment below if you have any questions throughout this entire process of putting together your YouTube content marketing strategy. So at this point, we know the roadblocks, we know the results, we know what our actual product problems solved are, and we have a good framework for organizing all of the different type of content and topics of content. So now it's time to figure out what specifically we are going to talk about. And the best way to do this is to take a look at your roadblock list and then head over to YouTube or Answer the Public and start typing them in as if you were trying to solve that problem yourself. So if we go back to our roadblocks, one of them is better bike parts or poor trail selection. So if you were a local base shop, you would go to Answer the Public or YouTube and type in best mountain biking trails and then fill in the blank of your area. And you want to follow this process for how-to tutorials, reviews, and decision guides so that you can make sure that people are actually looking for these particular problems to be solved, and you'll get a lot of great content ideas from content that's already there. Something to remember with YouTube is it's okay if there are already videos on it. If there are already videos on that particular topic, that just tells you that people are actually interested in it, and there's potential for you to add value to people's lives with your content. So in our particular example, let's go ahead and just look at everyone that we could target for our bike shop. And looking at this, we would want to create a different video for each one of these ideal prospects, because each one of them is at a different phase in mountain biking or learning how to mountain bike. So here are a couple of quick examples. For someone who's new, we could create a 10 reasons to start mountain biking video. That would target people who are just getting started with mountain biking. And then for the weekend warriors, we could have reviews of different mountain biking brands. And the reason we'd want to do this for the weekend warriors is because they're most likely to know what the different brands are. Whereas someone who's just getting started, if you do a review of brand X versus brand Y, they've probably never heard of either one of those before. So it's not going to be as valuable. The other suggestion we have for the weekend warriors is the 5 best mountain biking spots. So obviously, if someone is already mountain biking, they're going to want to find some new mountain biking spots. Whereas someone who's just getting started, we could have the 5 best mountain biking spots for beginners, for intermediate, for advanced, or we could do a decision guide on how to choose which trail to get started with or which trail you should look to if you're looking to improve your mountain biking skills. And then finally, the veterans, you're probably going to have things about tuning up your bike and then ways to improve their endurance or performance mountain biking. And all of these examples were generated using the YouTube suggestions box and Answer the Public. BuzzSumo and SEMrush are 2 other great tools if you're looking for content ideas or keywords to go after with your YouTube content. So at this point, you have everything you need to start the research process and start figuring out what type of content to post and specifically what topics to talk about, and then of course which topics not to talk about, because obviously in this example there are some topics, if we didn't want to target veterans or we didn't want to target the weekend warriors, we would just not create those videos. And after all of your hard work with creating your video, something that you're going to want to consider, probably not right off the bat, is actually syndicating your content. This is multiplying your reach. And if you're creating the videos yourself for your business, or you have someone on your team doing it for your business, this is definitely a second or third step after you've posted at least 5 to 10 videos on your channel. And this chart represents how you can take this YouTube video and cut it up and reuse the content that you created to fill out the rest of your social media and content strategy. And the reason that this is so important is video takes a long time. Creating content takes a long time. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with everything you have to do with the content, you're not alone, you're in good company. Creating good content takes a while. So we want to maximize the return as business owners we can get out of the videos that we make. And if you're looking to hire someone, these are the approximate rates you can expect to be paying for syndicating your content across the other channels. And if you're looking for where is the first place you should look, from YouTube, after YouTube, your blog is going to be the next best place. And then after that, looking at Pinterest and LinkedIn, if you're targeting professionals, as the next best place to go. Pinterest, you definitely want to do after your blog, because you're going to want to post pins that link back to your blog as opposed to just your YouTube videos. Now, this last step is arguably one of the most important, but it's the easiest to forget, and that is to reply to comments. Now, personally, I recommend blocking all of the spam and haters, because you want to create a positive environment for your audience, and you're trying to do business, not deal with negativity, but I'll leave that up to you. And this is just really simple. It doesn't matter if the comments you're getting are 1 or 2 sentences or just emojis. A thumbs up, A thank you is all you need to show that you're actually replying and you're actually engaging, and reading those longer comments and actually taking time to reply to them is ultimately going to help improve your content and marketing, because you're going to be able to learn from real world feedback of your content. So thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope you got some value out of this video and you have a much clearer picture on how you can leverage the power of YouTube and come up with video topics that are ultimately going to drive customers back to your business, as opposed to just making YouTube content for the sake of making YouTube content. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive marketing videos just like this one. Comment below with your marketing questions, and until the next, keep building the business you love.